Good morning, everybody. We're expecting some strong storms to impact parts of the central U.S., including Texas, Oklahoma, Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska are some states that are in this slight risk for severe weather today. Let's break that down. Here's the outlook for today by the Storm Prediction Center / SPC. There is a slight risk, as you can see, in parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Colorado, and Nebraska areas, and some of Kansas are in the slight risk right here. There's also a large marginal risk in parts of Georgia and Alabama. Here's the tornado risk for today. There is a 2% tornado risk, so pretty low tornado threat, but there's still a chance for a tornado or two when storms are more isolated. I'm expecting mainly a wind threat and hail threat today. There is a 15% wind risk in the exact same areas as the slight risk. There's also a 15% hail risk for today. The main risk being wind and hail. Let's go see what the models are showing though. So guys, here's the HRRR weather model. This is our jet stream for today. Pretty weak jet stream for today overall. Tomorrow looks a bit stronger. Like I said, not much severe weather expected today besides a lot of threats maybe. Oh, wind and hail threat possibly being the main risk. Very low tornado threat. But let's go look at the reflectivity still. Here's what the reflectivity is showing for today. You can see by around 8 p.m. tonight. There's a little bit of curvature in this line of storms right here. Like I said, line of storms. These are 3 cells down here. Ahead and behind the line of storm is the main threat for tornadoes. These eventually all collide and push into Texas. Into tomorrow morning, we see some more cells starting up, some more supercells. Tomorrow looks like a pretty significant severe weather day tomorrow also. So be weather aware. Let's go look at the bulk shear. Here's the bulk shear for today. There's like no shear. There's literally no shear for today. So today, rotating supercells is pretty unlikely at this point, just based off these shear numbers. Tomorrow though has decent shear. Let's look at the cape though for today. Here's the cape, guys. You're not really seeing any high cape numbers either. Tomorrow though, it's definitely like it's gonna be much more severe, maybe a 5% tornado risk possibly tomorrow. But today, it's literally the bare minimum for these storms. Bare minimum 1,500 cape. It's like bare minimum for a severe storm. So today definitely does not look like an outbreak type of day, just mainly wind and hail. The tornado threat is very low. I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least 1 or 2 spin up tornadoes. They're most likely going to be pretty weak, just due to these cape numbers being so low. There's one thing I want to show you guys real quick. It is a GFS weather model. I want to show you guys what we're expecting next week with some possible severe weather. Here is the jet streams, how we can see the jet streams for next week. Let's look at that. You can see late by next week in about, this is about 6 days from today. Just very strong jet stream in area of Wisconsin, North Dakota, and South Dakota areas. Eventually heading into parts of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley by the next like 2 weeks. This is still very far out, but this jet stream right here is only a week out, so this is a little bit more reliable. But this is not for sure. It's just a radar estimate. Let's go look at the Cape real quick though. Here's the Cape for next week. Look at that Cape, guys. 4,000, 5,000 Cape numbers. Well, there's some almost 6,000 Cape areas in here next week on the 8th. So in about a week, that's some crazy cape numbers right where there is this very extremely strong jet stream being shown. Look at the shear for that. Here's the bulk shear for next week. Look on the ace. That's when the ace looks like to be the worst. See on the 6, some decent bulk shear. Here on the ace, you can see this very strong where the jet stream is. It's 45 plus. Definitely some very strong bulk shear. Next week looks like maybe possibly an outbreak. Oops, I opened the sound. Sorry, guys. Next week looks like possibly very strong bulk shear numbers. Let's look at the super composite real quick though. This is the super composite for next week on the 8th. Let me go to the 8th. You see on the 8th, some decently high, some very high super composite numbers still. So next week looks like in about 7 days, 6 days, it's possible we can have a severe weather outbreak if this all plans out right. So definitely weather aware. So next week is when most of the severe weather will return, most likely. This week we're gonna have some possible storm tornadoes, maybe mostly wind and hail threat for this week though. Nothing crazy expected this week. Definitely said be weather aware. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you guys like, subscribe with notification so you get notified whenever I go live, if I do live severe weather coverage, or when I upload the next forecast video. Thanks for watching.